Hey everyone, DayTraderRockStar with you with a market update and a little review of today's action. Like I said, going into this week, just being Monday now, Monday night going into Tuesday, I knew we were probably going to have to do some updates to the watch list because of the type of week it was going to be. Headline news is front and center, Greek default, everything else that you could count on to come out in this market is coming out. So politics here in the U.S., France, we have nuclear meltdowns, explosions, Greece issues, Germany issues, Spain issues, Italy issues. And Italy actually is one of the reasons we actually rallied today, and we'll go into that in a second. But we left off talking about the last update we did talk about is possible breakdown of this upward channel, expecting some kind of news to trigger this. The main stochastic read here on the daily is negative, and we actually did start to see that weakness and start to break down through, and you can really see it on a 60-minute chart. But what we did see on the 60-minute chart also was an oversold stochastic indicator on the 60-minute chart and a larger channel. So it's really a touch-and-go area. The upward bias of the channel, typically you look for a downward break, but because we were oversold in the stochastics, and I said, well, there's a possibility of that flush reversal and to buy on the weakness. And that's exactly what happened today. We actually got the move down, rallied early, bounced, and then continued just to grind down all day. And you can see actually made a nice little wedge pattern to the downside. And then a little after 2 o'clock, even the stochastics were giving us a nice little wedge, which is very important. I love this coil. I called this the coil stochastic indicator. And things are coming to a point. Now, the timing of the article in the Financial Times talking about Italy talking to China to buy a decent amount of bonds, Italian bonds, really propped this market, and we got this big move up right here, and we broke out of there. And then we pulled back because we didn't know if this rumor was real or they were still trying to get confirmation on it. And it pulled back, but it held above the trend line, and then we got confirmation of it, and then the market rallied. And that's how we closed out. A very strong rally into the close, which was good. So again, it's just it's really a news-focused market right now. We know that any type of good side, upside, or actually good positive market news is really going to propel this market up. The negative news, depending on what it's going to be, has a chance to just put pressure on the market. Again, I do think the market has priced in most of the default in Greece, but I don't know if it's priced in some type of contagion move across to Italy, Spain, Ireland, Portugal. So that's going to, so I think if we could get through this Greece area and somehow, stave off this default for whatever reason, even though it's priced in and there's like an 80 or 90% possibility of this thing happening, for whatever reason, Greece holds up and they don't default, then you're going to see, I think you're going to see this market really take off to the upside, because that's going to pretty much say, all right, Greece was the worst of them. If Greece can make it, then all the rest are going to be okay. If not, Greece goes down, then, we'll see what type of short-term reaction we get off of that, and then, probably a bounce into that. But then then you have, the same situation that could develop, and there's two sides of the market. There's always two sides. There's the bulls and the bears. In some cases, as long as they continue to bring pundits out on the financial news stations to talk about their predictions and their calculations, of course it's going to be in headlines. So if we didn't have the headlines, we probably wouldn't even know this stuff was happening. And it wouldn't be under the microscope as it is. And the market, as I said yesterday, always overshoots its projections and overshoots its trade, usually in both sides of the trade. So on the downside, news usually go down a little bit further, and you get that rapid bounce, and on the upside, it usually overshoots itself. So we're in an area we're still waiting for news, but right now we left off on a 60-minute chart, a very bullish move, very bullish bounce, crossover. This has, right now, the ball's in the court of the bulls now again, just for this type. And they could grab onto this, and some more news form out here. We're going to watch these stochastics roll back up, and we really want to see the position of this. If we actually fail this overnight, and there's news coming out overnight here, and we just kind of gap down, and things, this could be easy a 180 reversal. We could even head lower off of this. This was, seen it so many times that you get that one bounce, based on some kind of news, which we don't even really know what that news means. It's just that the market is so on tilt right now. So we could easily see that reversal tomorrow. So what really comes out this week, and this went out in the 10 for 1,000 watch list on Saturday. We put out such a good watch list this week because the technicals are really starting to play out. Stocks are starting to pattern up. We definitely have some value plays. We have some, what I call kick-ass trades, multiple indicator setups, really, really, really good trades. And that's another, that's another side of the coin too, because we do have a lot of setups in the market and on the tech side that could help this market out. So we're going to go over a couple of the trades. Again, these went out. We took a lot of these trades today in the room. And again, for those out there maybe not familiar with it, I run a trading radio show called DayTraderRockStar, and I trade the markets live each day from 9 o'clock. We get into the office, start getting everything set up all the way the whole market day, live coverage of all the setups. So when you see these setups, you're seeing this happen live in front of you. You get the education, you get the moves, you get the trades, and it's there for you to see. So a couple of the stocks I wanted to go over. Normally, what I like to do is, again, the watch list is for the members, but I usually do like to put a couple good stocks out there on the YouTube universe for all the subscribers out there, and I appreciate the follows. And I always say, you know what? If we're going to send out a stock, let's send out the best stock. And I call it the kick-ass trade. And I always made it a point to say that kick-ass trade of the week goes to everyone. There's multiple kick-ass trades, but I always want to put one kick-ass trade out there. And there was 3 this week, 3 kick-ass trades, maybe possibly 4 if I go back and review that. But one of the ones was Cisco, and I wanted to share that with you today. And you might think, oh, Cisco, that's a dog of a stock. Well, every dog gets its day. Start off by saying that, and you can tell that Cisco has been really strong over the last 4 days, where the market has, in fact, hasn't been that strong. So you're automatically seeing Cisco, show good relative strength. If you take a look here, the last 3 days, we did have a bounce today, but the last 2 days have been very bearish. Now we go back to the Cisco, and you could actually see Cisco, one of the days was kind of pulled back, and today we actually closed back into that candlestick and bounced off the 20-period moving average. Everything really looks good. And why do we like Cisco going into this week? And basically, what we use a lot is the 60-period moving average. So we had a good pullback going into today, the 12th, and we knew that, because of the setups across the board in the tech area, that's why a lot of the tech stocks were in focus. We have that initial bounce. We saw relative strength throughout the day. The market was selling off. So the market was selling off here, and this is a great technique I try to point out during the day. But the sideways action here in Cisco just went sideways. Now, to give you a better view of that, let's just take a look at the overlay and what we mean by comparable on the ES. I'll just put this together. I do this live with you, so you get to feel the real trade. I don't like to script this stuff. It is what it is, and it's good. So you can see there's a divergence here. This is a downward channel that the ES was traded in, and as this was going into a downward channel, the Cisco was pretty much maintaining this channel. So when you did get this breakout here, you saw that first breakout, that first pullback, but then the run started here in Cisco, and that's really showed you the very bullish breakout in the markets. So a good example, relative strength on Cisco, and that's why one of the reasons I called it a kick-ass trade this week, because we noticed that, and it performed like a kick-ass trade today. And I have a great target listed on the site, so target's going to come, it's going to be above $17. So this trade is really working well, and love that one. And the other great stock that we got into today, that's what I was saying, I'm going to do a little bonus here for you, is, let me just remove this now, is the FFIV. Now, the FFIV, really just had a great feeling about it going into today. Had a great feeling. It was one of the first stocks I picked up this morning. And basically, you can see the inverted head and shoulders pattern playing out. There's, I did my research. All the research is on the watch list video. So it talks about the analyst, a couple of their stocks in the sector, which are also looking very good. So the whole sector, the FFIV, the internet backbone, even some of the fiber optic stocks, all setting up this week. And this is, again, the FFIV down in this level. Understand that the stochastics were kind of flattening out up here. Wasn't tremendously negative. And I think it was the 60-minute chart that we really, the 60-minute chart gave us that oversold level and we're holding off for recent lows. So again, we went back to the timing a little bit better, the 60-minute chart, and just got in on the gap down. Most of the watch list this week referred to buying on a gap down on Monday. So, a lot of those stocks that pulled back today pulled back right to those lines. Just to give you a good example of another stock on the watch list was CCK. And CCK, pointed out, and this is, again, I think I actually have the video. Let me see if I could actually play the video for you. This is what you look at. This is what you look at when you look at the 10 for 1,000 watch list. But I'm just going back over some things. You'll get the CCK. Let me see what. All right, here's the CK. So we went over in detail, how it developed the head and shoulders formation and how we started coming into a falling wedge pattern. And the buy trigger was 31, a move down between 31 and 32 with a target of 33. So stochastic, we go on further talking about the 60-minute chart and kind of outlining how this aggressively works with trends. So now we go back to today's video, and this was actually, we actually even put in a wedge pattern. There's two ways of looking at this. I could go to the extension of the candlestick there. I could make this a little better of a channel here. In either case, it's the lower trend line we're worried about and concentrated on. So we knew that we had some support here, and it's really a multiple tagged trend line. So we knew it was a really good one, and the way the market was moving, and if we had that gap down, we could look for that gap down into that area. And right off that area, if you bought that, and this is a stock I didn't get into, believe it or not. But again, I wanted to put it out there for you because I guarantee you it looks perfect now. The stochastics are just about oversold. You're in the lower part of the channel line. Everything is set up for this. The 60-minute chart is just coming off the lows. Quality stocks, Crown Holdings does, containers, connectors and stuff like this for cans, and I think it really got hammered on some news on Alcoa. But this looks great now. Again, we just come down to lower portion. We're in the bottom part of this channel. Everything's setting up on this CCK. So again, these are some of the stocks we look at each and every day and trade each and every day. And there's a lot of other stocks on the watch list for that. But we're going to call it a night, and it's about 11 o'clock right now. We're going to be in the markets tomorrow early. I'll see you on the show at around 8 o'clock. That's DayTraderRadio.com. I'm DayTraderRockStar, your host. Enjoy the markets.